Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Q Points. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray, also known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, people?
If you didn't hear me the first time, I said the name of the show is Q Points. We are dropping the needle on Black music history. Jay Ray, what it do over there in the PA?
Man, it's been busy over in these. Well, it's been a lot. You know, election day was yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we actually did some good stuff locally. Praise God.
Yes,
but it's been okay. It's been good on this end. How you been, man?
You know, I would complain, but I don't want people to turn off the podcast. We want people to stay listening. Matter of fact, we want people to subscribe to Q Points while you are here right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, click that. You see that bell right there? Just go ahead and tap that real quick.
Listen,
and subscribe to our channel.
You got to do all the things, y'all. And please make sure that you subscribe to Q Points. Make sure that you join Q Points. If you are like, I absolutely love these dudes and I want to support everything they do and make sure that all things are going well, go to qpoints.com, hit the subscribe button, and you can pick whatever level you want to join at. If you want to see QP Science 3000 for free and you want to sign up for the QP community, you could do that for free. But if you want to get all of the other stuff, you could do that as well on the website. So qpoints.com. And also, you can leave us a tip. If you just like, I just really think those dudes is dope, I just want to drop them. I just want to drop them a little bit. Just leave us a tip. You can always go ahead and do that. And so the link to that as well is in the description. And you see these shirts? You see these shirts?
Hoodies, this drip, this flavor, just like Jay Ray said, if you would like to sow into the Q Points ministry, right now, I want you to touch your screen. I want you to touch your screen right now. I want you to turn up the car radio and just listen very closely. We have merchandise, folks. This right now, I'm wearing, for those of you listening and don't have the benefit of visual right now, I'm rocking the Stop Tweeting, Start Rapping Q Points hoodie. It goes with everything. All right, right now all of those things. Right now is the temperature is dropping yet again. Some summer fall is done with. I think we're heading back into winter. And these go well with everything. It's warm. If you don't want the hoodie, we've got the t-shirts. J Ray is rocking the records, CDs, cassette, boom boxes t-shirt, Q Points. If you just want to represent the show, we have a regular Q Points logo t-shirt. We also have mugs, as you can see back behind me, for your mug of music moments in the morning or whenever you want to have you taking a sip of your favorite beverage. Listen, Q Points is going to represent you, so we want you to represent us wherever you go. Listen, J Ray, my friends, you know the circle, you know the two I'm talking about. Were talking to me the other day. They were like, "Yeah, you and J Ray really need to go ahead and put it down on all the people that you know that we know personally, and run down on them like,
why you ain't got your shirt yet?
Why you ain't got my merch yet?
But
What's up?
yo, shout out to my cousin Brittany who sent me a picture. It's now, if you go to customer reviews on the Q
Ooh.
Points store, store.qpoints.com, you can see my cousin got her hoodie and she's rocking her hoodie and she left a review. It's warm and all of that. So yeah, we do. We need to get with our folks and they need to get like Brittany. We're going to do a Be Like Brittany campaign.
Be like Brittany. Thank you so much, Brittany, for representing Q Points. You know who else represents Q Points, J. Ray? I got to give a big birthday shout out. It's slightly belated, but a big birthday shout out to my guy, Jonathan Blanchard, aka JB of JB's Record Lounge. He celebrated another birthday. You know, it's Scorpio season, so we won't say much about Scorpios, but he celebrated his birthday and the fact that he is an official Record Store Day vendor. So on Record Store Day, he's going to have all those record store titles available for you collectors like myself. And yeah, I just want to show him some love because he always shows us some love. And also want to show love to, you know, we got to switch gears just a little bit. It's happening all the time, it seems, but want to show some love to the family and the fans of Hurricane G. Gloria Rodriguez, Hurricane G, out the barrio. Listen, she may not have had the wild success that other people have had, but the impact is so funny that it's appropriate that she named herself Hurricane G because her impact was just that powerful. Just that powerful. So rest in peace to Hurricane G. Shout out to Eric Sermon. Of course, they have a daughter together. And, you know, much love to them. And also to Tane.
Yeah, Tame One. Yeah, from the Artifacts.
From the Artifacts. I believe they announced their passings on the same day.
Yeah.
So it was just a double blow for hip hop, double blow for us Gen Xers, man. It just seems like we getting ate up out there big time. However, there is a little ray of sunshine, a little salt and pepper of sunshine being dashed over the weekend. My girls, Salt, Pepper, and Spinderella received their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. J. Ray, you know I was fit to be tied. I was cheesing, especially when I saw Deidre up there. I was like, yes, they've come to an understanding. They did what grown people do. We may not be the best of friends, but we share history and we can do some adult things and come to an understanding. And I'm so very happy that happened, and doubly appreciative of the support from the sisters. Sparky D was out there. Shantae got to do an opening address for them. Light was there.
Yo-Yo.
Who else? Yo-Yo. I mean, the list goes on. Everybody you could think of. There was a mini Idol Makers reunion. Herbie Love Lovebug was there. I saw
she's an ear to ear.
He had to be. Stevie O was there. Kid and Play. Dana Dane. I mean, the whole Idol Makers posse. Sweet Tea. It was listen. The 13-year-old in me was completely fanning out. It was just an amazing time to see these people that I've watched since I was a kid rise to the recognition that they're received and that they deserve. So did my heart some good.
Absolutely. You know, it was so beautiful. It's been so beautiful to me watching, in particular, how the women in the golden era hip hop have moved over the years, watching them support and show up for one another in all of these instances. And it's just always dope seeing folks be able to get to the point where they can get a recognition like this. Like Salt and Pepper and Spinderella worked so hard. And I gotta say, we don't know what the future holds for that relationship,
Right.
But those three women standing there next to each other in power, holding those plaques together, that is the hip hop that I love. And that is what I want to see more of. And that's why I'm so happy that we're doing this show tonight, even though I think parts of it will be heavy. I think where we're trying to get to is we want all of our folks to get to that point.
To get to that point, to live to see that point.
Yes.
You know, and to receive those accolades, you know, you're absolutely right. And it's funny that, you know, Salt-N-Pepa, the announcement came out of Salt-N-Pepa receiving their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was right after we wrapped up our conversation with our good brother, Adrian, on Adrian's playlist of conversations. And of course, you know, wherever I go, I'm a rep, you know, the S&P posse, wherever I go, whatever show I'm gonna be on. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you who, you know, who got me into the game, who had the most impact on me. I'm gonna tell you it's Salt-N-Pepa. And that was an amazing conversation, and we got to be a part of Adrian's playlist of conversations, which should be dropping within the next 24 hours.
Absolutely, yeah. So by the time y'all hear this show, you should be able to go to adriansplaylist.com and check out the show. We had an amazing... This is everything about Q Points that you probably have ever wanted to know, because you and I, Adrian, really went into the history of how we came to fall in love with music. We went into the divas that we love. We even spent some time talking about some of our favorite country music songs. It is a wide-ranging conversation.
And I'm gonna say this: J. Ray and Adrian cooked me over a couple of my choices. I mean, they let me have it, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm a big boy. I can stand in my choices. It's all right. But you really need to tune in to Adrian's playlist of conversations to hear exactly what they sauteed me over in that conversation. And speaking of accolades, speaking of our favorite divas, you know, of course, I'm sure Janet comes up in the conversation. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over the weekend. I mean, Janet recreated her Control album cover look, and those two gentlemen are standing there just like, they deserve everything that they've gotten.
Every bit. And if y'all have not heard our Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis show, our brother Daryl came and hung out with us, and we dug into the legacy of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And I think that was show 24. We did that last year.
Wow.
And listen, those, I'm surprised it took them this long to get Jimmy and Terry in. Like,
exactly.
They have impacted the world of music internationally since, you know, when I think back to like just first hearing the SOS band, when I heard Just Be Good to Me for the first time, it was a wrap for me. And then from that point forward, it was like hit after hit after hit. From the Human League to Janet Jackson to MC Lyte to New Edition to, it goes on and on.
Nothing but heat rocks. Nothing but heat rocks and band culture.
And band culture. From, you know, this guy, there he is over there.
Prince.
That guy.
Yes, indeed. And so shout out and congratulations to them. Shout out to all the inductees. Just a side note, I saw Eminem gave a really heartfelt, most of his acceptance speech was just shouting out all the people that inspired him, including Moni Love, because people have brought that up numerous times about his speed rap is in comparison to Moni Love, and Moni was like, aha, thank you. So shout out to them.
Oh, really quickly too, before we skip from there, we have our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame series too. While y'all checking out that Janet Jackson joint, you can watch our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame series for free. It is unlocked. It's available on YouTube, and it's available on our website at qpoints.com. Dionne Warwick, Tribe Called Quest, Lionel Richie, and Fela Kuti. We have 4 shows. Y'all should check them out.
Listen, Q Points, we touch it all on Q Points. Every single topic you can think of. We even speak on politics just a little bit because it's very important. As you mentioned at the top of the show, J. Ray, last night was election night, and we got some results. I'm not even going to hold you. I've been in a general malaise over the past couple days, period. Like I'm just be transparent. Like I don't know if anybody's ever gotten this way, but sometimes I feel like my head, like over the past few days, I felt like my head was in a fog. I couldn't focus on anything, and then you compound that with a collective trauma, because it is kind of traumatizing. Let's just let's call a thing. A collective trauma like losing elections because you didn't see the person you were rooting for win, and all the ramifications of what that means down the line, and all the questions that come up of, what happened, or, what's it going to take to get people excited to vote? What is it going to take people to want to change? And quite frankly, J. Ray, I've talked about this plain frankly with my friends. We just think some of the old guard needs to just die off. In order for real change to take place, the old guard, some just really needs to die out, and some of them just aren't dying out fast enough. If I could be blunt, but it is what it is.
I mean, and I think the unfortunate part of all of it is this is baked in it's in the DNA, it's in the soil of this country. When we talk about anti-Blackness, when we talk about racism, this country was built on the blood and sweat of our people. It's in everything. It's in the concrete on the streets that we walk on. And we haven't reckoned with that. And until we reckon with that and start talking and tell truth, I think we'll keep ending up in the same spot. I want to send love out to those people who made it to the polls yesterday, or who, like me, early voted or did a mail-in ballot. There's a lot of people that really made an effort to make change happen where they live. And thank you so much for participating in the process. And where I am now is I want to see more interesting candidates enter the conversation. So if you're listening to Q Points and you think that you have what we need you to do the thing that you need to do.
Please, we're begging of you, because like I said, we need some new blood. We need some new blood. There needs to be some new strategies implemented, all of those things. And before we go on to our main topic for this particular show, we're not beyond sending out love to the family of Aaron Carter.
Absolutely.
Who died tragically as well. That kid, and he was a kid, he was just a kid. He went through a lot publicly with the challenges of the disease of drug addiction. And it is a disease. And, compound that with fame while you're an adolescent, and while you have an older brother who is considered more successful, who is in a successful band of his own, that could not have been an easy life. So, shout out to Aaron Carter. He had Aaron had a connection to Michael Jackson, J. Ray, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, and I had to learn about this. What I didn't realize is Aaron talked about a moment where there was he was almost put in a situation to extort money from Michael Jackson at one point. From what and there's video out there. I think you can go to Vlad TV and kind of see a full interview with Aaron Carter, but he talks about that experience. It didn't happen. but talks about how it could have happened.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that man went through a lot and publicly.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I read his brother's statement, and it was so loving because his brother acknowledged how challenging their relationship was, but also said, listen, the real enemy here is mental illness and substance abuse, and we have to focus on that. And sent love to his brother. So we also send love out to the family of Aaron Carter as well.
Absolutely. And, speak brotherly love, I think, so today's show, the show you're listening to right now, everybody, is entitled, Is It Still All Good?
Yes.
And we have a very dynamic guest who is joining us. And I have not got to meet this brother in person or virtually yet, but we follow each other on Twitter. And, last week when the news broke, God, I hate when it broke so early in the morning. I literally was like woken up out of my sleep by the news about the murder of Migos founding member Takeoff. He and I, our guest, made some very similar tweets, and we were just like, our tweets were very simple. I groaned and he sighed in our tweets. That was it. It was and it was just understood. It was just like, not again. Not again. Takeoff and the Migos, for all intents and purposes, over the past decade, have proven themselves to be hip-hop's supergroup. One of hip-hop's supergroup. They, for this generation. And that's that. There's no denying it. Even an old head like me appreciated the music as a DJ as well, seeing people respond to the music, I got it. I got who the Migos were, and they deserved all of the clout and the accolades that they were receiving. And so, and just I forgot how young he was.
Young.
Super young. He didn't even reach 30. So they came in the game as kids. And still, babies, in my opinion, in my eyesight. So it just really shook me. It triggered me with some old memories, and we'll talk about that with regards to our fallen hip hop soldiers. And you and I, we just got on it, and we were like, we got to talk about this cloud that is hanging over hip hop right now, and music in general, and on top of it, just black people as well. And we just need to talk about it. And I couldn't think of, a better person to commiserate with than our brother in podcasts, the host of Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, the founder of Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, the MPN Network, created in 2012. He is a hip hop musician, a podcaster, journalist. He is the proprietor of the Warehouse Parties, and he birthed two sub brands, Fly Socks and Tees, and the Groove Suite, which was created in 2014. While hosting multiple events, the Groove Suite podcast was formed to showcase the neo soul, progressive, and other related genres music, and showcase and other artists from Jacksonville, Florida, and around the United States. In August of 2016, Pete began working with the internet radio station The Sound of Duval by hosting his online radio mix show, Cubicle Music Mondays. Wanting to expand the network realm in January of 2020, Pete created the MPN Network along with the Neighborhood Podcast Network, which hosts a range of regional podcasts. The network is continuously being innovative and working to tell more stories of various creators of music, arts, and influencers with purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Al Pete.
What's up?
Yes.
Okay, so Al, real quick though.
Yes, sir.
So what Al does not have in that illustrious bio is that Mr. Al Pete is the Black Podcasting Awards Best Black Music Podcast winner for his show, The Tables Might Wobble. So listen,
Give it up.
man.
Give it up.
I got an update to do. I know. I got an update to do.
Welcome to the show, Al. Like I said, this is our first time actually chatting.
For sure.
But you and I on Twitter had that moment where we were just like, not again. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And just, again, congratulations on the win, and just talk to us about the Tables Might Wobble podcast.
Oh, man. Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show. Congratulations to you, Q Points as well.
Thank you, man. We was happy to share space with you, bro.
Man, listen, I'm so glad we shared that space because I've been checking out the shows, and it's just been some really dope stuff. Before we get into it, I don't know if y'all saw y'all email, but when y'all was talking about them shirts, I immediately.
Did you?
Okay.
Thank you, man.
Yo, I got that hoodie, man. That hoodie that stop tweeting, start rapping. Let me tell you something. When I hit the Duval streets with that shirt, ooh, boy, we gonna make some people upset. Boy. I love it, man.
Duval.
Absolutely, man. But I'll be back at the store for more. But nevertheless, thank y'all. Tables Might Wobble podcast. So I wanted to get more into storytelling, NPRS narrative type of action, and the best way I felt I could do that was talk about my experience with DJing, because as a DJ we go through so much, like as far as like we have victories, but it's a lot of things that happen on the side where it can be very intimidating and just flat out annoying. And I was like, this is a good opportunity to like school people how to how DJs work. It's not just us getting up there spinning the records and setting the vibe. It's like a whole type of machine that we have to handle, like all the way from the tech side, like as far as making sure our computers are up to date, making sure that we have the right cords to plug in, and make sure we smiling in the midst of being sick or somebody drunk comes to our table. And I just thought that was a good opportunity for me to illustrate it the way that I would like to hear it. So instead of me just talking about it like a regular podcast conversation, I just put it into like a storytelling format. And so the idea came up in 2018, and I fully started on it in like 2021. Well, no, I started it in a pandemic, but it was like a kind of stop and go. But then I was like, yo, let me just go ahead and do it. And here we are with it, man. Season 1 done.
So I'm curious, like, what I love about listening to the show is how you create the atmosphere. Like, you literally bring us in. I feel like I'm walking into the club with you with the crates. Like, you were telling this story about how the people at the end of the party, they're like looking at this person packing up all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like you had us in the moment. How long did it take to create? Because there's the recording, there's the editing, and then there's the creating of the atmosphere. How long did it take to kind of pull all those different pieces together?
Not long at all, because I feel like my creativity is very big, and coming up with the words was no problem at all, because I'm a hip hop artist, do a lot of writing. I'm a journalist as well, so the writing part wasn't a problem. I just had to put myself in a quiet area in my house and just kind of as Benny the Butcher would say, recall it and record it. That's what it is. So so basically it was just a matter of going through my my thoughts and being like, okay, what to add in, and this, that, and the third. And I mean, even from like the dog bark, like when you're walking outside, it sounds like it's nighttime. I was just like, I really wanted to put people in that scene, but it didn't take long at all, because I just really had this like creative brain. And I was like, I could just pour this stuff in, and just, to others, it would be like an exaggeration. But I mean, if people really paid attention to their surroundings and stuff like that, all the sounds that was going on in there are happening in the midst of it. So I just felt like it was what better way to do that. And it didn't take long at all to do that, for sure.
Well, as a DJ, your ear is trained, or for sound, for all of the things that you just described. But I'm super curious, from one DJ to another, like when did that journey start for you? When did how old were you when you picked up your first piece of vinyl, or controller, whatever you started on?
So I've been around music for forever. Played in the band, alto sax, piano. And it really started from me and my friends just having parties. And I was like, let me just get by this three CD track, the 3-5 disc thing, and I would just switch songs out, and I would just play a song, and I would act like I was a radio host, and that was the thing that I would do at the parties that we were still on. And Doug Banks' morning show, I was listening to it one day, and they said, Tim Caller, get $1,000. And I became the Tim Caller, and I was like, either I can blow this on some clothes, or I can buy some equipment. And I was like, yo, let me just go buy some equipment. So I bought my first, it was like this Newmark CDJ or whatnot. So I bought that, and that was in 2004. 2004 is when that happened. And then I did a house party, then it led to a wedding, and the rest is history.
Wow, man, oh man.
Yeah.
I never meet people that win radio contests, so that just lets me know that was ordained. No, that was ordained, because how many people do you know actually win on the radio? Because I know that I've sat by the phone and I've hit redial. The most I ever got was some stickers from WRAS down here at Georgia State, and that's it. But you won a stack and reinvested in yourself. That's what's up.
Yeah, it was crazy too, because at the time I had my son. My son might have been like 4 at the time, and he was with me, and he was already positioned. So of course, the first thought I had, being a custodial parent, I was like, well, what do I need to buy for him? Like, he already got clothes, we got food in the house, that type of stuff. I'm like, we good. Then I'm like, okay, I'm a rapper, so I'm like, I gotta buy this shirt or this chain or whatever. And I was like, nah, let me just go buy this equipment. And I didn't think further into that, but that was like the best decision I've ever made, one of. So
and to your point, Sir Daniel, really ordained. And I'm curious to know your journey to music. So you mentioned alto sax, you mentioned piano, you mentioned playing in bands. Sir Daniel and I are a huge fan of band culture, and we actually think that's one of the things that's missing in like today's musical environment. Is just not a lot of bands, right? There are people who play behind acts, right? But not like a band where we doing this thing together. How did that journey start for you?
When it comes to the band action, I saw my uncle. My uncle was in his high school band. So my uncle was like stupid cool with it. He was like, he would make saxophone like just seem like extremely cool. So between that and then going to like my neighborhood high school, I was going to their football games, and I just seen the dynamic of it, just seeing like all these instruments coming together and did the percussion section doing this and the bass doing this and the woodwinds doing that, and you got it just the way that came together, and everybody had these parts just like fascinated me. So when I went over to my high school, Reebok High School, Marcher 200 under Clifford M. Buggs, we was playing 70 songs. So Earth, Wind and Fire, like we was always playing an Earth, Wind and Fire song. And so the dynamic of hearing those sounds coming from the, other one side of the band room to the other, and it was just like magnificent. And then we get on that field and just blast it out to everybody. It was just an electric feeling. And I was always wanted to be a part of that. I was like, I always want to be able to add something to like the full equation of anything really. But when it comes to band, what we're talking about, I always want to have that point. Like, okay, well, Al is right here. He's playing the saxophone. He's first chair. I want to make sure when it's time for me to play, I'm repping for myself and repping for the people around me, and for the culture. The culture, they travel for that stuff. Like it's a big culture of that, man. And to be able to play Earth, Wind and Fire, one of the most dynamic bands that we could think of in modern time. Like that's a great recipe.
Absolutely. So J Ray, you know, I had the experience of living in St. Petersburg, Florida,
Yes.
for a brief moment in my adolescence. And band culture in Florida is serious, because I never forget, like, going to Battle of the Bands. They would have them at the stadiums and everything. So band culture is very serious in Florida. But what I also know about Florida is that the hip hop scene in Florida was very unique as well. So I want to know about Al Pete the rapper, and like what kind of flavor, because you coming out of Duval. So I kind of have in my mind what I'm thinking about what your flavor was, but what kind of vibe was Al Pete? First of all, what was your MC name?
Al Pete, yeah, Mr.
Al
Al
Pete,
Pete,
okay,
yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Al
Al Pete,
Pete.
yeah.
And what was Mr. Al Pete on? What kind of flavor was he on?
Oh man, I would conscious hip hop for sure. Conscious, like my favorite group of all time is Outkast. Next to that, it's a Tribe Called Quest. So that's that. I got into rap because of that, because I was able to, like, have that freedom of expression, and just make some words seem cool, or what? Well, make the words cool. So like my reach for sure, as people would describe me, it's like the Outkast, Big Boy, Common, mixed with Nas and stuff like that. So that was the vibes, and to this day I'm still on those vibes, where it's just like the conscious boom bap type of hip hop. So that was me. So, and that's funny because that isn't so popular in Florida. It isn't, because of course when you think of Florida, you think about Luke, Two Live Crew, bass, all the way to like Trick Daddy for sure, Rick Ross, T-Pain, Plies, and so the only thing close. Yeah, all of that, man. So, and it's funny because Denzel Curry is like that fresh air for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not. I mean, he has that Florida flair to him, but he still has a very great sense of like conscious. So, Al Pete is definitely like the conscious rapper. But yeah, that's me, man. That's conscious rap all day.
Wow. In terms of your podcast work, like, I'm curious to know. So you did season 1 of The Tables Might Wobble. Well, I have two questions actually. Was it always intended that The Tables Might Wobble, was it going to be one season and done, or were you always planning it as, okay, I got more stuff to say, so it's probably going to be more than one season?
Once I got into it and started seeing the creation of it, how it came together, I was like, yeah, we got to do another season. I was like, we got to do another season. I would love to try to get the video aspect of it. Like, I would love to have video for it. But we'll see how that works. But originally I was like, let me just do this mini series and then that'll be it. But yeah, when I got into it, I was like, yeah, we got to do a season 2. And then the response from other people and from the DJ, like from our DJ friends here in Duval, the way they received it, the way that I was able to bring in people that don't even know anything about DJing, and for them to like express it how they do, I was like, yeah, let me give them at least 2 more seasons of it. And then I would like to go regional too. Like, I would like to expand out of Jacksonville and interview some people that's in other regions for sure.
Dope.
Nice.
Dope. Well, definitely keep us in the loop, because we definitely want to be able to support The Tables Might Wobble. Like, I'm not a DJ, but I work with a DJ every day, and I literally started my artistic career working with DJs. Like, I'm a huge fan. As a music lover, DJs are the ministers for me. Like, DJing is a ministry, and that's why I'm very particular. Sir Daniel will tell you, like, if you behind them turntables, I expect you to know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So from one DJ to another, I salute you, and I salute
that
as
well. Yeah.
And I cannot wait for more of The Tables Might Wobble, and to have hopefully someday you can come up here to Georgia, and I can introduce you to my DJ friends, and we just expand the community and just talk some more. But Mr. Al Pete, while we have you here, we got to talk about what's been happening on a collective conscious level with us as a community and how we are traversing these deaths and all these traumatic experiences. But that's going to be on the other side of this break. So listeners, viewers, Q Points, we will be right back after this. I've always wanted to say that as a kid. We'll
be right back after this.
Hey, what's happening? This is JB of JB's Record Lounge, and I want to give a quick shout out to Q Points, keeping our history and current events alive in Black music. Shout out to Sir Daniel and Jay Ray for making all of this possible. Come visit us at JB's Record Lounge, 898 Oak Street, Suite F, Atlanta, GA, anytime. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, noon to 6. Come see us for your vinyl fix.
Dropping the needle on Black music history, you are in tune to Q Points. I am DJ Sir Daniel, alongside with J Ray and our special guest, Mr. Al Pete. And we're about to delve into the crux of what we're here to discuss this in this episode. Mm-hmm. You know, as I mentioned in the beginning, you know, just last week, we received word that Takeoff of the Migos was murdered. Prior to that, there had been several deaths that were hip hop related. Then on top of that, there's a lot of social media chatter, a lot of so they were amongst the sisters in the rap community, and it seemed like there was a lot of beef brewing, and that caused a lot of tension. And then we have rappers dropping albums and calling out people by name and making fun of their very public plights with gun violence and things of that nature. And then finally, J Ray and I just looked at each other like, what the hell is going on?
What the hell? Yeah. Y'all got too much money to be doing this.
Not even, you know, the money. Clearly, the money isn't solving anything. It's not helping anything. It just feels like there is this ongoing just current of misery. But like I was saying with regards to Takeoff, it just sparked this, it triggered me. Because I remember, like I'll tell you two stories. The first time a hip hop death shook me was I was watching Video Soul, and MC Trouble's "I Just Want to Make You Mine" video was playing, and when the video ended, Donnie Simpson came out of the video and said that was MC Trouble's and the Good Girls, "I Want to Make You Mine," but we want to offer our condolences because we just learned that she died. And that shook me because she wasn't that much older than me. I was like 14, 15. So, you know, at that age, when somebody who you come to admire and see on TV and whatnot in your age group, that kind of shakes you. So that was that. And, you know, that was the first time we were like, oh, you know, rest in peace. Then after that came Trouble T. Roy, things like that. But those were kind of like natural causes. Those were natural causes, you know, early, but natural causes. But then fast forward to, I'll never forget, the March 1997, getting a frantic phone call in the morning from a friend of mine at the time. And he had this raspy voice. He was like, yo, they killed him. They killed him. I was like, who is this? What are you talking about? You know, very much out of a scene of a movie. And he said, they killed him. They killed Big. And I was like, excuse me? Big who? They killed Notorious B.I.G. Again, like I said, this was 1997. I did not have a cell phone or social media to turn to. I immediately turned to MTV because that was our only means of getting, you know, music news within real time. As we're at that time, that was considered real time. And just waiting, just keeping it on the channel, just waiting for some confirmation, or just waiting to make sure that it was a joke. I didn't even go out to turn on the radio or anything. I was looking for Tabitha Soren or for Kurt Loder. If Kurt Loder or Tabitha Soren, MTV's, you know, most well-known jocks, anchors, anchorman and woman, came on the television and made the announcement it was true. And sure enough, they made the announcement. And I just recall just being devastated because Big was somebody that I saw a lot of myself in, because he and I shared pretty much the same upbringing. Only child, raised by a single mother from the West Indies, you know, being lavished upon by this mother who gave him everything, the education, the emphasis on education, and him being a great, reader and very well spoken, and so on and so forth. I really grew to feel like me and Big could have been, friends, or, at least, and shared so much in common. So hearing that he was murdered when it was that the album was about to come out.
The album, was on its way out.
Hypnotize was already in rotation, and it was a good time. Everybody, this is a Bad Boy thing. The good times are continuing to roll. All About the Benjamins, was picking up steam. So it was definitely Biggie's time to shine. And just like that light was snuffed out. And I just remember that just having a severe impact on me at the time. And, I would just like for you two to share what rap deaths impacted you and how when they happened.
I go first. You mentioned the Biggie. So I was a senior in high school when I like to tell this story. Well, I like to say that I'm like, okay, well, when I was a senior, I experienced two big deaths, because like my senior year, we experienced Tupac, September 96, and then turn around and experience Biggie in 97. So that was my first, like, wow, like, and for it to be involved around like violence, it really was like, wow, okay, so this is for real, like, because before it was like, you would talk about somebody, it was like a diss record here and there, this and the third, but I've never seen anything get taken to that point. So the Biggie and Tupac thing, that really took me aback. I was just like, wow, because I was in hip hop like crazy. It was just, hip hop was like this new thing for me, a new thing, experiencing as a teenager. So I do say I wish I was like in my 20s when I was going through the golden era, but I was a teenager and it was good to just get those tapes and listen to it. But like that, I was like, wow, that was really tremendous. So that, and then the most current one, I'm still broken up by Nipsey, yo. Like I'm still touched about Nipsey, because that was, none of them was supposed to happen, but of course that Nipsey one really felt like, I was like, yo, like this should not have happened at all. This dude was very tremendous to his community. He served his community, his culture, and that really hit me very, very hard. Still, heard about that for sure.
Yeah. Nah, I echo both of y'all. Like Biggie, so I was 20, so 97. I was 20 years old. Well, I was about to turn 20, so I was 19. And heard about it on the radio. But you know how you hear something and you don't think you hear it? So it's like, wait, what? It's like a wait, what? The Aaliyah death was kind of the same thing. It's like, wait, what did I hear? Did I hear what they just said? So, but the Biggie death hit me really hard, and it probably was compounded, to your point, Al, because Pac had happened just like 6 months prior, right? And they had kept him on life support for a long time after that. So it wasn't even like a full, but the shooting happened like 6 months prior. And I think, to your point, Al, having that moment of, oh wait, we shoot, like we're killing people now.
Right.
Because it was just the diss, right? Some of those disses would be vicious. Some of those disses would turn into a fight on stage. But it hadn't turned to I'm killing people. And I felt like that moment, that 96, 97 moment of like, whoa, we're like killing super bright stars. And those brothers was young. They was like 24 and 26. They were young dudes when they were murdered. And that changed things for me. And so watching our current state, it's just like I'm at a loss about what could be done at this point, because it's so much bigger, right? Like now we've moved from art imitating life to life. It's art and life, they're like intertwined in this weird way now, where it's just like, oh, nah, they rapping about exactly what they did. They did that already. They already robbed that person or shot that person or did that thing, or they're going to. And it's just like, wait, when did we get here? When did we get here? But the Biggie death was definitely the one that got me in hip hop.
Yeah. So to your point, J. Ray, so like right when after the first time Pac got shot, I kind of felt things started to feel ominous.
That's true.
In rap music. And I think that, a lot, he's an ominous figure. The presence of Suge Knight kind of brought that into play.
Absolutely. Like his very existence in the culture was a different energy.
A whole different kind of energy, and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. And so from that point on, everything felt kind of, whoa, the whole when Pac was shot, I remember hearing that in the streets of New York and like on the trains they were saying bad boy, bad, but trying to insinuate that they had something to do with it. And I was thinking to myself, God, thank God social media was not around in that era, because that really could have pushed things over the edge. Not that, death isn't already pushing things over the edge, but more people probably could have been hurt. I think about that a lot. And just like the impact of social media on our world, it's made it a lot smaller, of course.
Right.
But when we have these conversations, when we were coming up, we weren't able to like clap back at at a rapper or a public figure like we are on Twitter. So it's like there was this distance, between us and them. But now everything is so close, and I'm just thinking, like, the two of you, social media, is it just like, I know we like to blame a lot of stuff on social media, but can we do without it? Can we live without it? Because we're working so much through social media now, right? We're making connections. We're getting out music. We're getting out our podcast through social media. So, like, what is there to do to make social media a positive thing again, or are we just too far gone?
I can't answer if I don't want us to be too far gone. My fear is that we've gotten to a point where there are folks who didn't get lessons and we're too far away from it, right? Like we're so far, they're too old to get some lessons that you learn when you're a child, right? There are some values that I learned about life and respect for people that it's hard. I don't know how adults learn that. I don't know how adults learn that skill. To your point about social media, I don't blame social media I think social media, I view what we do as a tool. I view these as tools that we use to be able to communicate, to be able to get business done, to be able to get things done. But social media to me isn't real. We're the people that we interact with. That's the real part. Like the conversations we have, the relationships we build, that's real. So I think my fear is that there are a group of folks in some areas and possibly in some generations that didn't get some really important lessons, and I think we see it show up in negative ways. But I don't think it's social media.
Man, social media. I feel like I feel like we're far gone. Well, not we, but I feel like a group of people are far gone from it because, man, people just don't care no more. And like I do agree on the lessons though, the lessons being missed because there's just a lot of people just. I mean, I carry. So for me, when I step in a room, I greet people. You know, good, bad, whatever. Before I even start talking, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, this, that, and the third. And you'll see me sometimes jump online. I do the same thing before I even start tweeting, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And I just don't, between that, well, that and other lessons or whatnot, it's just not being shown online, man. And I feel like it's like this free game for everybody just to do anything and be whatever online. And do I feel like we can bring it back? I think it's to the point where it's, well, especially Twitter. Twitter is just like this war. It's like this open war zone where it's like, you put every thought on there, and it's like there's no type of sensory, there's no type of mystique on there, there's no type of respect or anything. And yeah, I just feel like it's far gone, man. I don't know how to bring it back. I think it's just a matter of just people probably just realizing like, okay, well, I'm kind of done with it, And I say that because I'm at that level right now. For some reason, I just cannot let go of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot, because for a minute that was my favorite social media. Like Twitter, I was like, I can get on and kind of just diary the thing up, kind of share little quick thoughts, but it's like everybody takes it to like this extreme. And I think it's having an influence on a lot of other people. And these people are coming out doing the same thing as these people. And, these people know that they're right. There's a lot of people on there that good and well that they got those lessons. You can just tell by just the mannerisms. I mean, it's to the point now where you can tell mannerisms through somebody's like profile. You might not even know them, but usually, they be tweeting. You be like, man, you ain't like that for real. Like, and it's like people just really act like that, and they've gotten so deep into it to where they just can't come out of it. So yeah, I feel like it's far gone. I'm still hopeful though. Still hopeful, but it's at a moment. It's at this moment now. It's like it's just everybody's doing everything. You just walk up and you see everybody. It's just havoc everywhere.
So actually, Al, thank you for that, because that brings up this really interesting point, and I'm curious, y'all thoughts on how it's also seeped into the music. Because the idea for Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. Or what's been bred is this idea that you have a thought, it was 140 characters. So you had to get this thing in 140 characters. Now it's 280, whatever. Now you can do the thread. So it could be a longer thought. The point is you can have this thought and go from thought to post in seconds, which is nuts to me, because we come from the era of don't send that. Right? You know what I'm saying? Or you're writing stuff down and it's like, okay, this ain't going nowhere further than this page, because now I've written it down and I read it and I can't send that. You know what I'm saying? I got to say something different. But Twitter is just like thought post, right? When I think about hip hop, right? So Al, even thinking about the rappers that you mentioned that you like, which is why I think Kendrick stands out like a sore thumb, is because I'm like, he really put some thought into that verse. Like the way he got from here to here to here is like thoughtful, and he really thought that out. Outkast did the same thing. That new JID is dope. I've talked about it a lot. JID is doing that too, on his new stuff. But do y'all feel like our current social media has also made the music in some instances the way it is? Because everything is short, and a lot of it, there's a lot of stuff that is, but there's a lot of stuff that's just like, I don't know what you're saying.
Right. From one DJ on the DJ tip, a lot of this new music we cannot, like, you can play a song and then kind of like, let me go get a water real quick, or like time out.
Can't do that.
No, because it's a minute 30 and you like, the song is done.
You cannot do that. Right. It's so short. It's like, and people want to blame it on like the attention spans, but that's a good point you make, because it's like, when you think about it, it's like thought put out, or thought put, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like the music reflects that as well. It's just that whole, 180 characters or 240 characters equals like 2 minutes of a song. You just, chorus, verse, chorus, out. You know what I'm saying? It's just that type of, so it definitely filters into like the hip hop music.
And yes, and I feel like as human beings, what I've noticed, what I've observed is sometimes what social media does, it makes you a figure, right? It makes you an avatar, you're a profile picture. And a lot of times that takes away from the humanity, that takes away from you knowing that I'm flesh and blood, of you knowing that, of what I look like outside of this box that you see me in, that I might be 6 feet tall or I might be 4'11". You don't know any of that. You just don't know. All you see are these words, and you don't consider my humanity or my upbringing. You don't know anything about my background, nothing, and we don't want to. I think that's the worst part, is that we don't want to investigate. We don't want to learn about the human being behind Mr. Alp MPN, the app. We don't want to learn anything beyond that. And so I think that kind of takes away, it makes it very impersonal. And so I think we take that feeling of impersonality, is that a word? We take that impersonal feeling and we bring that out into public when we interact with each other. DJ to DJ, we see that when people can barely dance together, or barely dance, or they're so busy taking pictures of themselves or recording the moment instead of living in the moment. And then they come up to us and not recognize that this is a human being behind this turntable, behind this controller, behind this laptop, and just push a phone in our face with a song, because we're just a jukebox to them. We don't matter to them. You know, understand what I'm saying? I think there's just a lack of it's just rudeness. There's a rudeness. There's a lack of people having any kind of, what is the word? I'm losing it here. Consideration. We're just not considerate of each other. I think that's the main thing. That's my biggest pet peeve, is people that aren't considerate of each other. So why not? Why would it be foreign to take that to the extreme and say, "Oh, when I see you, I'm a step to you, I'm a pop you." It makes it much easier, because nobody looks at each other as human beings anymore. We've lost that empathy for each other.
Oh, and you know what that brings? I absolutely agree too, and it actually makes me think of the fact, because many people spend a lot of time in these boxes not interacting with other people, you also see yourself, and you kind of see yourself as invincible, particularly, in a particular way, right? So it's like you expect there may be an expectation that people would do that to you, And so it's okay to do that to others. And it's like, because when you feel empathy for people, you take people's feelings into consideration. Like that thing that I just typed was mean. And I should not have typed that. I should apologize and I should delete and apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because it was rude. And I don't know that we fostered. I don't know that to Al's point, I think we might be really far away from that. I think there had to be the same lessons, the same people that we got lessons from would have needed to be in Twitter in 2010 saying, take that down. That's foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who were standing on the porch in our neighborhoods.
You know better. Your mama raised you better than that.
Your mama raised you better than that. Stop cussing on this machine.
Acting like something. Acting like you somebody and you know you're not that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I think Kelly Rowland may have been the last person to publicly say, but I'm not going to diss you like that on the internet because my mama raised me better than that. I think that might have been the last person that ever said anything publicly about having some shame, some shame about yourself and some pride about yourself, as they would say. But then this is hip hop, right? But this is hip hop. The culture is built on the battle. And when I listen,
I love a battle. I love a diss record.
I love a battle. I love even the URLs, the Chrome 23s, those kind of the fight clubs where MCs battle each other are alive and flourishing, and they go for the jugular. They get personal. They do this and that, but it's all out of respect for the art of MCing. And you're either MCing to move the crowd, or you're MCing to prove that you're the better lyricist, MC, whatever. And so, yes, we grew up in that era where, yes, here's a perfect example. Roxanne Shante beheaded everybody you can think of in one record, Big Mama, right?
Yeah.
Including Salt and Pepper. But fast forward 30 years later, they're all adults. They're alive. They've evolved as women. And Shantae is a public figure on Rock the Bells, able to introduce her sisters, and I love that they all refer to themselves as sisters and brothers in hip hop, and they're able to talk to her sisters in hip hop and give them their flowers because they came out of that. They knew it was just about, selling records, or they knew it was just about the art of dissing somebody and getting the best of them and who has the best punchlines and trying to outsell each other records and whatnot. They knew that. They knew it was all in fun because they came up in that. They knew that it was supposed to be a fun element. But now, how do we integrate that feeling of fun where a lot of people, I don't know, DJ to DJ, it seems like a lot of people don't even come out to have fun anymore. They come out with like, I want you to make me dance, make me have a good time, like almost daring you to have fun, to enjoy themselves. And you kind of be like, well, what's the point? What's the point of enjoying the music? What's the point of, becoming a part of something that was supposed to be fun?
That was a loaded one, sir. I don't know, man. It's almost like I kind of want to put the blame on social media, but I don't want to put the blame on social media because, I'm stuck on that one, man. I don't know. I really don't know. Like these are the questions that I ask myself. These are things that wake me up in the morning. Like, I'd be thinking like why, how do we get here? Like, why are we in this state? You know what I'm saying? And, I don't know, man. Cause I know for me, I'd be wanting to do like certain events I was in a meeting yesterday, and we were talking about not having chairs at these events because we was like, we don't want people sitting down. Like, we just trying to find all these ways to get people to dance, and we like playing like records. Like, it's been plenty of events where I've done like an easy 70s, 80s, 90s set easily.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about back in those days, you had no choice but to dance. I don't care what type of person you are. I don't like, you could be the thuggest of thuggers, but when that Patti LaBelle come on, and you know what I'm saying, like that Jeffrey Osborne come on, like, you ain't finna be sitting around, like, you're not finna be sitting around doing all that. So even to this point now, I mean, I do feel like the type of music that's played now, like, it does have that draggy, drowsy type of feeling, but still, like, I mean, people still don't even like aren't motivated on that tip. So I'm still trying to figure out like how it was lost and why it's in these positions. And I honestly don't know. I would love to hear y'all opinions about it, because I don't know. And I'm glad we're having these conversations and asking these questions, because hopefully we can come to some results to be able to like add back to the fun of it, and be able to resurrect whatever and bring the fun back out of it. So,
I mean, I do think it's complicated, because this thing, I think, has been brewing since at least 91. I'm going to use 91 as like the turning point. Sometimes I harp on this record, but deservedly so. It's a classic record, but I think it also changed things. And that's Ice Cube's Death Certificate. I think that record is a turning point. And it did two things. It normalized this really kind of insidious misogyny, homophobia, and on record, and proved that it could like make a lot of money, right? So it proved to record labels that people would buy this kind of content, right? Because before, when I think of America's Most Wanted, his first album, and I think of Death Certificate had the similar elements, but the delivery was different. It felt different. We were at a different time too, right? So it was reflecting where we were in 91. It was a lot going on in LA. Rodney King had happened. There was a lot of stuff. So I get why the record was where it was, but I do think from that point forward, there was a lot of money being made, and people wanted to make that money. So y'all both remember there was a moment, I'm going to use women in hip hop as my example here, because there was a moment when the women in hip hop, they all of a sudden, they were like girly girls. They put on makeup and they got dressed up, and Latifah was doing Fly Girl and like doing a thing, and Yo-Yo did Black Pearl, and MC Lyte was dancing all of a sudden, When in Love. And I'm like, the very next record, all of them women was like back in like baggy clothes, hats, they had to get hard again, because between 91 and 93, that stuff that you was doing back then wasn't going to fly. So I truly think from that, and this moment, now flipping it back to dudes, this is what black men act like now. This is what you do. You can't do what Tribe was doing. We don't do that. You can't do what De La was doing. We don't do that. You have to do this. This is what masculinity is. So I think it's from that point forward that it just started to brew and keep going and going and going until we get to the point where now you get social media that's taken the humanity away. You have a music that's already been stripping away our dynamic, all the dynamic things that make us who we are. The music's been taking that away. We went from not knowing a song was about sex to knowing exactly what this song is about. Because I go back and listen to you listen to You Are My Starship. A kid can listen to that and not have any idea what that song is about. That type of nuance does not exist anymore. You just go and talk about what this is. So I think that all of that, the dumbing down of the music and the way it's been presented, I don't want to say the culture overall, but the dumbing down of the culture and the way it's been presented, I think has gotten us to this point. And I think the schools play a part in it too. There was music in schools when we was in school. There was stuff in school. There was more things that you can do. Now you can either play sports or you could be smart. You could be both too, but
right.
I think all of those things have gotten us to this point where it's just like, I don't have to critically think. I don't even have to know cursive.
Wow. I don't have to write period.
I had to write period. And I can become a superstar.
Quickly.
Very
quickly.
I do the right TikTok, I'm out of here.
I just the right crew, or I go at a certain individual, I'm out of here.
Absolutely. You have a career now.
You have a career for sure.
So now
everything, to add on to everything that you said, J. Ray, I feel like everything, because we're living on these devices and everything, like you said, is being put on for display, that means a lot of what we do is performative. And so I think everybody is in this mood to be on and feel like they have to be on. Brothers feel like they have to perform something. They have to perform whatever it is they feel like they have to perform because of who they want to emulate or who they want respect from. And I guess it just, I guess it depends on where you are in your life and what you know about yourself. And if you have a clear definition of who you want to be, you don't perform anything except, being yourself. But unfortunately, a lot of people have grown up on this, in this life, in performative life, as it were. And so I think maybe what we're experiencing is a bunch of people, especially men, a bunch of men that are really afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to be themselves, and afraid to experience happiness. I don't know, because maybe it's not cool, and want to live up to something that somebody else told them was the thing to be. So and that makes me, I got sad all over again just thinking about that. And then it doesn't help that people in our generation, us Gen Xers, we're getting up there, but then we're seeing all our heroes passing away early. Like super early,
like touching 50.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, every time something, and I know this is unfortunate to say, but like every time, are y'all familiar with that? I forgot the name of the Fonte song, but it was on where he talks about people dying, the young people dying, well, the old people, that age, whatever. But I forgot the name of that song, but that song always plays in my head when he breaks it down, like, people in their 40s passing away and their 50s passing away, and it's such a reflection, man, and it's unfortunate. And then you turn around and see the young generation, the people that's passing, the ones that's living, they're burying the young ones, And I'm just like, when does it end?
When does it end?
When does it end?
So I have a question. So gatekeeping. Do we need to bring back is this idea, and maybe gatekeeping is the wrong word for this, but this idea of mentorship? Because I do feel like there was a time you kind of had to run through. You had to check some boxes before you got put on. So if we think of MCs, they probably showed up on somebody's joint before they had their own joint, right? Might have been a couple of years prior. You're like, oh no, I remember those dudes. They was on so and so's album, where they were kind of coming up. Does some of that need to usher in? Like, do we need to usher some of that in? Like the Girl Code, I think, is doing that right now, where you're seeing like how they're moving and how they're coming into the game. Do we need some of that? Is there a space for that in our current world?
I don't think people respect that. Like the gatekeepers are automatically the old heads. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, OG. Calling an OG, somebody OG back in the day was like an honor. But like now being called an OG is like, oh no, you're done with, your season or whatever. And it's almost like that indirect saying of like, okay, just move over. We're going to do what we do. And it doesn't help that we're in that climate where, it's easy to become a star. So it's like these kids would be like, look, man, I could just record this in my room and put this on SoundCloud and I get 1,000 clicks. Why am I going to listen to you telling me what I need to do and check? You know what I'm saying? So it's that whole self-inflicting type of gestures going on. Everybody's about self. So I just don't think people are going to even respect the gatekeeper thing. Do we need to bring that back? Absolutely. I mean, and it might, gatekeeping is just a word that we're throwing out, but like, you have artist development, you know what I'm saying? You have mentorships, you have all these things that could be a factor that can really benefit and generate some type of integrity with these young kids that's coming up. Because these kids young, they respectfully, their moms don't even know how to balance, $500,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got a young kid that's like 20, 21 years old getting all this money, not understanding like the factors of that. You know what I'm saying? Like full blown cash on the table. And then they bring it on social media.
And then they put it on social media like, young man, I am so over you right now.
I'm like, if you don't take that off of social media, if you don't go to a bank, if you don't, you know what I'm saying? If you don't go this way, and these people are looking on social media ready to like come for you. You know what I'm saying? Like ready to come at your neck. You know what I'm saying? Just not even for the money, just to say that they did it. And it's like all of that is brewing up because we just don't have the gatekeepers in place to be able to say, hey, brother, let me go in this room with you when you doing this deal and let's walk this path. Like let's get that checklist or whatever. Or hey, you can go in the club, but make sure you get some security. Or it's those type of precautions that I feel like gatekeepers would kind of be in place to do, but the respect level just for people in general, like we said before, like the respect for humanity or for another human is like gone. So just imagine, I couldn't imagine a older seasonal person that's been in that field for 20 plus years, then seeing it all, coming to a kid and being like, hey, you might want to stop wilding on Twitter because, the police, the police officers, they be on tips. They look for those tips on social media and the videos and all that stuff. It's like you see it on the news, young man. Why? I need you to pay that some attention. So, yes, to answer your question, do we need it? Absolutely. Will it have a space? It's hard. Now, it can have a space though if we had the right people to doing it for sure. But it's difficult, yeah.
That's the part right there, Al. Because you're right. There are gatekeepers, but here's the thing: once gatekeepers get slipped an envelope, then people start slipping in the gate.
Hey, when I read that, I thought about Atlanta. I don't know if y'all watch Atlanta like that, man, but
Absolutely.
That you know the episode I'm talking.
The Avatar with the white
Avatar,
boys.
we talked about that on show 71.
We talked about on the show. It's so there's that. There's that combined with the lack of respect, or even because remember what a few years ago who was that? Jacquees was arguing with Keith Sweat,
which is nuts. Yeah, like nuts to me. Young man, sit down. He does sold more records than you will ever sell.
And of course they squashed that, but it's like, you know, I would never, like, there are DJs who I revere in this city that if they tell me to do something, or if they hear something and they give me the thumbs up, I'm elated, because that means that there's something fundamental that I've done, that I've studied and I've paid attention to, that they're saying, you got that, young man, or whatever, you know, you did that, and I appreciate that, because I want to be the best. I want to be the best at what I can be. And I don't know if it's just a personal pride in what you do. Is there pride in the art of hip hop anymore? Is there pride in rapping? Is it just a means to become a brand? Is it just a means to make a few bands? That's a song right there. That's mine. Don't copy that. Anybody.
Write it down. Copyright that thing. Copyright it.
Nah, but it's like, once the money came in, once the money got involved, you know, it felt good. I remember that when the money started getting involved and people started getting paid and they looked like money, and they were, you know, we were starting to be seen in different spaces. We were partying with Donatella, and, you know, everybody on Versace's boat, and, you know, everybody was dripping with jewels, and, you know, we had all these ads, and it felt good. But then once that started happening, then we have these hellacious murders happening, you know, being traded off for the bottom line, for some money. And so I don't know, those are the things that I think about, and the sacrifices that were made to create this industry. The culture is solely resting. Well, we are the culture. I was going to say it's resting on our backs, but we are the culture. You know, and everything that we're created is being taken away or co-opted by somebody else that doesn't look like us. They're getting all the awards, they're making more money, and they're living longer. You know, those are the things that I'm looking at, and I'm like, does anybody else see this going on? Nobody's paying attention to this?
That's what I felt. I don't mean to cut anybody off, but that's what I felt when we tweeted, when that whole sigh. That was it was exactly what it was. I'm like, well, because I had been feeling like this for a very good minute, and I'm glad, you know, Jay brought that up in regards to like the brewing. But for you to say the brewing, bringing it back to 91, I'm like, yeah, you made it a very great point by saying that it's been brewing for a minute, and it's just something that we just haven't been paying attention to, regardless if we was like indulged into the music or trying to, okay, let me make money off this some kind of way, you know, in the culture. So for it to get to a point where, you know, I'm looking around and I'm like, I'm scared to even share my feelings, because I don't want somebody looking at me on some OG and being like, oh, OG need to get away from here because he's thinking he might be messing up the flow of things, or he's challenging me too much, or, you know, the academia aspect of it, just the educational factors of it. Oh, he's trying to bring that in. No, we got to remove that. So it just sucks that, you know, we're all on this call right now looking around like, or we're great. Is it great that we're on this call right now? And we're like, wow, we found some people that feel the same way as us. You know what I'm saying? And trying to find these solutions. So,
well, here's the good. I think so. There's a good thing. I agree with that. I think, because part of is there a path forward? I think it's definitely identifying the challenge, I go back to, I'm going to get this quote wrong, so I'm not going to quote Fred Hampton exactly, but the idea is that if we don't educate people, they just end up reproducing the same things that the oppressors have done to us, because they're just going to do the same thing, because it's like, that's what power looks like, right? Whereas the question that we need to be asking is, one, does that align with Black people and our values as a people and as a culture? And two, how do we do something different? So that's one part of it. It is, okay, how do we shift going forward? And I think us having this conversation is part of it. But the other thing I want to raise up is that next week, so we got this brother who, Al, you will be like, he's a breath of fresh air. Like, his name is CSW. Sure. He's an MC. He's in Philly. And it's just like, listen, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to rap, and I'm going to take this thing really seriously. And I'm going to really be serious about this craft. And listening to him makes me feel like, oh, shoot, the kids is all right. The kids good. You know, they're going to be okay. Because there's people out there in the midst of all of this foolishness that got it. You know what I'm saying? We was talking to him and he was just talking about like, nah, like, you know, Biggie, like, I got into that Biggie joint when I was a kid. He's 21. I'm like, okay. And I was listening to BB and CC and I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here. There's a lot of influences. So I think there's more hymns out there. So saying all this to say, yeah, I think definitely us as OGs of the culture at this point, we're the elders, brothers, definitely having these conversations, but I think also championing the younger generation that's coming in. I think that's one of the things that we have to do, is when we find them, scoop them up and be like, how can I help you?
Right. How can I be of service to you? And then in the midst of that, throw those little nuggets in and stuff like that. You know, you don't want to be the dad, you know what I'm saying? Like the authority of it. But, you know, I feel like at some point these people will have appreciation for us to come in and be like, hey, I'm just here to, you know, if you want to talk, get this off your chest, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. Or, you know, after a while, when that relationship builds, you're like, okay, well, maybe throw a pointer in there, or throw something that can, a nugget that'll make them, you know, that'll resonate with them. So,
wow.
For sure. Yeah. Listen, I think we're a pebble in a pond. You know, that a rock that has been skipped across. You know, we're creating that ripple effect, and thank God for these platforms that we're creating and we're standing upon. And I'm thankful, you know, that Al P can join us. I'm thankful for J Ray. I'm thankful for this show, because the whole idea behind this show is to do that. Not only are we holding up and celebrating those that came before us, but we want this to stand as a living record of what to look for, what has happened in history, what we're seeing repeating itself. And, you know, if they don't want to talk to us in person, listen to the show. We're here. And I agree with you, Al. I'm glad to be an elder. You know, I consider the alternative. I consider the fact that, you know, people don't have the blessing and the luxury of getting to this age and beyond. And so, I don't know. I just think it's super dope that we had this conversation, and I want more people to be able to reach Al P and see what he's up to. So please take this time to let the listeners know where they can find you online, where they can find you in person to get those good vibes.
Indeed. So we talk about social media.
Right.
Man, go to my website, man. Go to my website. And if you choose to go to social media, you got to go to the website first. So that's MrAlpete.com, MrAlpete.com. For my business, the MPN Network, go to M as in Mary, P as in Paul, N as in Nancy, -LLC.com. soundofduval.com. That's where the Neighborhood Podcast Network is at. Just a little bit of write-ups here and there, get some merch too, but go there first. And that's where I'm concentrating more, putting more of my stuff on there. And then social media would just be like that filter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But on social media, I'm on Twitter, rocking out, Mr. LP MPN. Holla at your boy, come through. All I do is talk about how sorry Popeyes is and all the good music that's out there.
Yeah, you was looking for wings sometime last week. You was like, I'm going to find these wings.
Listen, it's a problem, man, with them wings, man. Them wings got to be a certain way. I don't like them flabby wings, man.
or the pterodactyl wings. The ones
that's
like
ridiculous. They shouldn't be that big, yo.
Either they too big or they too small. And
right.
Like, what's going on?
So listen.
Yo.
J. Ray, please tell everybody where they can find us. And like we said, subscribe.
Yes, please. Please subscribe, everybody. So you could definitely, of course, check us out, QUepoints.com. That's QUEUE points.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere on social media. You can find us where we at. Please go ahead. Definitely go ahead over to Apple, Podchaser, Spotify. Leave us a star rating. Leave us a review. Rate us 5 stars because, you got here. If you got all the way here to hear this, you want to rate us 5 stars because that means you really enjoyed this show. Okay. And you also want to subscribe on YouTube. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you are watching us on YouTube. And check out our products, store.qpoints.com. You can get a shirt. You can get a hoodie. You can get a mug. DJs can get slip mats. We got you. So definitely check that out.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you to our special guest, Mr. Al Pete, for coming through to this episode of Q Points.
Yep.
Special thanks to J. Ray. And J. Ray, what do I always say? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is J. Ray.
And this has been Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. We'll see you next go round. Peace.